Hey everybody, Amy Weiss here with my friend Nathan Hirsch. She's the founder of FreeUp and Outsource School, and we're excited to have him as a guest speaker at the Inspire Virtual Summit. Welcome, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and thanks for having me as a speaker.
Yeah, well, we feel very lucky to have a serial entrepreneur such as yourself to come and network with us, as well as teach us a little bit about outsourcing. Uh, you know, During the Inspire conference, we really focused on setting up your business foundation and thinking about where your business could go, and kind of developing that growth map. But a huge part of that, and even Joy Packard came on day 3 to talk about getting your time straight so that you can start outsourcing. But a huge part of us reaching our full potential in business is being able to let go of the reins, stop doing everything, being the everything, every position in our business, and let some of that go. And so we're excited to have you come and talk a little bit about that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and how you got started teaching others about outsourcing?
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think entrepreneurs, including myself, we tend to just keep adding stuff to our plate, and sometimes you forget to just subtract it. And then when you do, the people that do have a big team, like with FreeUp, we had a 35-person VA team. We didn't just wake up one day and hire 35 people and hope that it worked out. We had a system and process for interviewing them, onboarding them, training them, and managing them. And that's what I want to bring to not only Outsource School, but the summit. And so, I mean, a little bit about me. I'm a 10 plus year entrepreneur. I've never had a real job. I started an Amazon business out of my college dorm room, selling textbooks, competing with my school bookstore until I got a cease and desist letter from them and didn't want to get kicked out of college. So I pivoted and I had come across Amazon selling textbooks. I started experimenting with lots of different things, from sporting equipment to outdoor supplies to video games. And I just failed over and over and over until I came across baby products. So if you can imagine me as a 20-year-old single college guy with a lot more hair selling millions of dollars of baby products on Amazon, that was me. And I was overwhelmed. I was a 20-year-old entrepreneur. I had no idea what I was doing. Hiring college kids quickly proved to be unreliable, and no one in the real world wanted to come and work for me. No one even knew what being an Amazon seller was, never mind working for a 20-year-old entrepreneur. So I kind of got into the remote hiring world based on necessity. I needed people to respond to my customer service emails, list products, reprice products. And there wasn't a lot of Amazon software back then either. So through the process, I got good at the Upworks, the Fivers. I always wanted a better, faster way than just posting a job, getting 50 applicants, interviewing them one by one. And one day I said, you know what, I'm going to build my own marketplace. So I set out and I spent the last 4 years growing the FreeUp platform from a $5,000 investment to doing over $12 million a year. And we were acquired about 200 days ago by one of our clients, the Hoth. So that was kind of a crazy end of 2019. And now that I've finished up the transition there, I'm focused on my new venture, Outsource School, where we want to teach people our exact processes for getting the great rockstar VAs into your team, keeping them around, and really show you the details on how you get it done. Hey, this is how you interview them. This is how you onboard them. This is our training process. And hopefully we can help a lot of entrepreneurs. And one last thing there, we're partnering with Teach for the Philippines. A percentage of all sales is going to go toward their great organization, helping children in the Philippines get access to better education, to become VAs or whatever career path they want. And we're just excited to give back not only to entrepreneurs, but also to people in the Philippines who have been such a big part of my success.
Wow, that is really, really cool. FreeUp was one of the first things that I learned about when I was just growing myself and going, I'm crumbling. I can't do this all. There's not enough hours in the day. And even
Right.
if there were enough hours in the day, I wouldn't be able to handle them. One of our Inspire speakers, Stephanie Scheller, she came and spoke about marketing, but she made the argument that time is not our best asset. Energy is. And if you spend your time doing things that give you energy instead of zapping your energy, you're going to be much more effective, because others might run out of energy even early in the day, but she can do the things that give her energy all day long. And then she can work all day and she feels great. So I loved that argument that she made, but I was feeling like that when I got, into my business and I was working all these different businesses. I didn't expect to start an Amazon business and then have a brand and invent a product and then at the same time start a consulting firm. That's just how the journey went.
Right.
And you don't always plan these things. Sometimes they just manifest and you're like, okay. So, I remember reaching out to FreeUp, and what the biggest difference was for FreeUp from, like you said, just going out to Upwork and all these things, was when I ran into a problem, I could come back to you guys and you really provided great customer service and you helped me communicate or do better at communicating with that person, that virtual assistant that was working with me, or understand maybe the problem. And so sometimes, when you're hiring cross culturally, it can be difficult, but more often we as business owners aren't always prepared to do that kind of hiring. So what would you say is the biggest struggle that business owners have when it comes to hiring, when it comes to outsourcing their first freelancer?
Yeah. And quick note to feed off what you said about the energy. I look at hiring as an investment. I have a very logical mind, and you're investing not only time and money into someone, but you're investing your energy into interviewing them, onboarding them, making them part of your team. And that turnover is devastating. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, even if they have a good interview process, even if they onboard them and they train the people. Once you've invested all this time, energy, and money into someone, how do you get them to stick around? And I'm a big believer in what I call our BARF method, which is a funny acronym, but it stands for getting them to buy in, showing appreciation, building relationships, and creating a family culture in your business. Because I think a lot of people have the misconception that rate is the most important thing, that as soon as someone gets a higher paying job, they're out the door. And I remember posting, FreeUp had these big chats of all the VAs on the FreeUp marketplace, and I would post questions every day. And one of the questions I posted was, what makes someone your favorite client? And in my mind, I'm thinking money, right? Whoever pays the most money is going to be the favorite client. But across the board, it was the clients that show appreciation, that told them about their business and made them feel a part of it, that built that one-on-one relationship and showed that they cared about their family and stuff going on outside of work, and really created a family culture among the VAs that client had, so that, yeah, other jobs might come around. There's always going to be more jobs out there, but no one wanted to leave that family. And that was a big part of how we had such low turnover on FreeUp. And turnover is just one of those things that kills businesses. I remember I used to have 50% turnover towards the middle of my Amazon business, and it was devastating. Talk about losing energy. There's nothing worse than investing into someone and having them put in their 2 weeks notice. So I think that's the part that a lot of people get wrong, is they're so focused on, how do I find that right virtual assistant? And once they get that person, they don't focus on, hey, how do I keep this person around for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, and during the Inspire conference, we had all types of different businesses there. And it's funny because Amazon and e-commerce entrepreneurs, they are very well exposed to the ability to be able to hire virtual assistants. But I think there are so many business owners out there that are not exposed to the benefit of a virtual assistant and what they could do for you. I know real estate agents, we had a bunch of different service-based industries. At our conference, I had my gym owner, he had his own fitness gym. And I'm like, you realize that there are so many things that virtual assistants can do for you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, especially if they have a local business where people walk in the door every day. They don't realize that that virtual assistants could really help them. Can you give some examples of things that virtual assistants could do in any kind of business?
Yeah. And it's funny with FreeUp, there's a business owner that I respect a lot. He owns a bunch of businesses, but one of the businesses he owns is a sushi restaurant that's like, I don't know, 15 minutes from my place, really good sushi spot. And he was a client of FreeUp, and he would hire VAs to run his social media, to do a lot of the data entry tasks. So even if you have a walk-in location, you can still hire virtual assistants. Now, getting off the board, the three things that I personally like to hire, and I just started a new company, Outsource School, so I'm going through this all over again. First of all is bookkeeping, just because me and most entrepreneurs out there are not good at bookkeeping. The time that we're spent on bookkeeping not only pulls us away from what we're doing, but we tend to not do it well anyway. So just getting bookkeeping off your plate right from the beginning with a solid, affordable bookkeeper that can keep everything organized for your accountant and really complement your accountant, incredibly important. Social media is one of the best things to hire a virtual assistant for. Someone who you can write the content, you can come up with the videos, but they're there to schedule it. They're there to plan it out and save you a lot of time. Those of you that follow me on social media know that I post a lot, and I use a virtual assistant for that. An executive assistant role, someone to go through your inbox, to clear it out, to give you a head start into every single day. That was one of my first hires on FreeUp. I would hire them from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And by the time I woke up at 7, my inbox was clear. They left a few emails that were important for me, and it just gave me a big head start to my day. And lastly, one of my personal favorites is lead generation. I've been on 300 plus podcasts. I have a great lead gen process for that. And it's the same process that, hey, if I want guest speaking appearance, if I want to be on more virtual summits, if I want to reach out to influencers, if I want to find partners in my space, and the lead generation gets a little bit creative. And just like every sales process, there's ultimately a lot of failure, a lot of rejection, a lot of being ignored. But if you keep tweaking that process over and over, you're going to be able to accomplish whatever you're trying to do from a lead gen standpoint. And a virtual assistant is a great way to help you do that.
Wow. So you said bookkeeping, social media, an executive assistant, and lead gen. And I love what you said about you had a VA come on from 5 to 7 a.m. your time. So by the time you woke up, you're good to go. Oh my goodness, that would be so good for me. I really focus on cleaning out my inbox, and sometimes it just gets overwhelming, you know? So I love that idea of, and it's actually on my task list to show my assistant my thought process when I clean out my inbox, so she can take over that task for me. So that's a really great tip. And then finally, how would you recommend that people, when they go to hire, that they train? You know, that I think that's one of the biggest things people are afraid to hire, because they're like, how do I train this person when I'm too busy to train myself?
So the biggest advice I can give there is you want to value your time at the highest possible level. And I think this is why people sometimes get frustrated with VAs, or they say, hey, you know what, this isn't for me, because they're going to make a one-on-one investment into someone. And then let's say a week in, that virtual assistant's not getting it. And then you're kind of in the dilemma, hey, I've already invested a week. Do I invest a second week? And if I fire them, I'm never getting that week back. And usually the right decision is to move on and get someone else. But for me, I want to value my time at the highest possible level. So with FreeUp, let's take customer service, for example. I had a 50-page SOP that I slowly built over time. And that's probably excessive for a lot of you. Your SOP could be a page, it could be a video, whatever you want it to be. But I would hire them and I would pay them to just go through the SOP and ask questions for an entire week. That was their only job, to read the SOP, ask questions. I'm there to support them. My team's there to support them. I'm still over here running my business, growing my business. And then at the end of the week, I'll test them. And if they get 80% of it, great. I'll get them to the finish line. I'll teach them in the last 20%, or my team leader will. If they're getting 20, 25% of it, well, I haven't invested any of my time. I'll pay them for their time because that's something I believe in, and I'll move on and I'll go and get someone else. And if you approach training like that, where you're valuing your time and you're putting it on them to get most of it, and you can help them fine tune the details or get that last part, that's a much more efficient way to train. And you're not going to lose energy like you talked about before.
Wow. Those are some really, I love how much value you've provided today. Let's talk a little bit about, during this Inspire Virtual Summit, our attendees are going to get 3 days of awesome content from our physical conference that we had here in San Antonio in January. So the first day is all about focusing on your vision, setting up your vision for your business and your mindset, and just getting your foundation set up. And the second day is all about your growth strategy, goal setting. We cover marketing, we cover branding, we cover all of those things that we should all be considering. Pitching, being able to confidently talk about your business. So, all of those things are really great. And then on day 3, we cover some of the executions. We get you set up to really have a goal setting and growth map for your business. And then the third day, we talk about execution. But we are having some really great guest speakers, such as Nathan coming on during the virtual summit. So they're going to get all 3 days of that content, really setting up their foundation, 15 plus presentations during those 3 days. And then on top of it, we are having, I think we're at 8 guest speakers now. So it's going to be a ton of value, a ton of content. I'm sure for the price of the ticket, even an hour with you, Nathan, would be much more than that. So let's talk about, what are you going to be presenting at the conference? What do you hope people get out of your presentation at the conference?
Yeah, I want to teach people some actionable steps, stuff that they can apply right away in their business to get started delegating tasks. Now, you might not listen to my presentation and be a virtual assistant master, but you're going to leave there with stuff that you can actually apply to your business to get 5 hours in your week, 10 hours in your week back. And to, if you are hiring VAs, to take that experience to the next level. So that's what I'm hoping to provide.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to have you there, and I can't wait to learn from you. I've been over here. I'm a note taker. I've been over here taking notes just from the things you said during this live. So I really hope that it really helps people. And I can't wait to see everybody at the Inspire Virtual Summit. The link is in the comments. So go down there and click it, check it out, and we will see you March 18th through the 20th. Now, if you can't be there virtually, March 18th through the 20th, it's okay. You can still get your ticket. You will have 60 days to review that content in a Facebook group. So we are all going to be able to talk with each other, network with each other, do those things in that Facebook group, ask questions of the speakers. We're also going to have the original speakers back to do live Q&As. So I know it's going to be such great content, and we're all going to have a really great time at this virtual event. So we will see you there. Thank you again, Nathan, for being here with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.